Hey everybody. I wanted to put out a video on YouTube for people that are either new to the Front Office Football series or new to Front Office Football 9 and just kind of walk through some of the new features and how to play through a season. So I'm going to start a new season as the Arizona Cardinals here and kind of walk you through the game a little bit. So just to get started, just select a folder name for your new save game. And then they have this option here to use the front office football player file. Now, what this means is if you check this, you'll get the actual 2023 NFL roster. And if you uncheck it, you're just going to get a bunch of randomized players instead of the 2023 roster. Um, in previous games, you would see, 2016, 2015, but in this one, there's only 1 year to select. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then once you choose that, you have a selection. You can start with players on the normal teams, a preference draft, and then a full 53 round draft where it puts the entire NFL into a draft class, and then you just go through a draft drafting all the players you'd like, and it kind of ends up in a weird conglomeration. So that's what that is. I'm going to start with players on teams, and I'm going to use the default assignments. And new in Front Office Football 9 is using historical quarterbacks. So what that is, I believe, is you can bring in quarterbacks like Troy Aikman and Kurt Warner and assign them to the historic teams. But we're not going to be doing that here. We'll just be using the normal 2023 roster. So we'll just continue here. And people that have played front office football before will be familiar with using the full X factor. So this kind of helps randomize the player stats a little bit. Kyler Murray might be really good or he might be really bad. Um, and it just kind of changes things up a little bit. And then you can track and reveal the scouted rankings history of all your players, so it's easy to track them as they go through their career. So far in Front Office Football 9, um, there's some issues with the error handling and the messages you get. So there's a couple options to have AI help out a little bit, and one of them is handling the depth charts on the game plan, as well as minor roster decisions like picking up somebody to play when one of your players is injured, and then you can do even more with have them handle almost everything. But in this case, I'm only going to have them handle the depth charts, the game plan, and the playbook. So we'll go ahead and we'll create the teams. And I'm going to choose the Arizona Cardinals, also known in this game as the Arizona Pioneers. And we'll begin the preseason and start taking a look. So what we're on right now is the team overview page, and it's a little bit different and a lot better, I believe, than Front Office Football 8 in how they displayed the information. So it's kind of cool. You can see how you're doing in the division right away. Um, see how your team is doing overall in terms of sacks and where you're ranking up on compared to all the other teams. It's very easy to see your starting lineup, as well as who's doing the best on your team. So this is a good screen just to get a good overview, as the name implies, by team overview page of your team for the season, who's injured, all that kind of stuff. Where as before, you might have to open up your email section to see who's injured, or go to your roster and slide through everybody to find who's injured to deactivate them. This makes that a little bit easier. Um, so we'll move on to the roster screen. Um, One of the cool additions I think that's on this screen is the fact that they show when a player is drafted now. So once you're 20, 30 years in and you have all your players that you've drafted, you can kind of see when a seventh round pick that you've made is has stuck on your team for quite a long time. A lot of nice filters on here. So you can go to unassigned. I don't have any right now, but towards the end of the season when players are going to have expiring contracts, you can see them all here instead of having them all clutter up your all players section. So you can just go to signed or unsigned instead of trying to figure out, I got the preseason roster here, but let's presume for a second that a lot of these players are leaving. instead of seeing them here, they'd all be gone if I went to signed, and I'd know who I need to target in the draft and free agency. Staff, easy way to just view your staff. Not a whole lot there. Um, Something that's different in this game compared to Front Office Football 8 is there's a lot of hover overs, and you can go into your settings and change how long it takes for it to pop up. Um, but a lot of these things you can hover over them, and you'll get a little bit of information. I'm guessing there'll be mods in the future where they have pictures showing up of the players or just some sort of randomized faces. But for now, there's just kind of some stock images that the gym included in this build. Depth charts. This is going to look a little bit different from Front Office Football 8 as well. Here you can just click and drag the players into your lineup if you're handling that. I think you just flip through the skill positions and any other tab you need to change. Um, Strategy. Again, I'm having the AI in my case handle the play calling, but for those that are familiar with going through the play calling and managing your game plan, you can manage that here, and you can see that I got a 55 play limit for each game. I'm scouting. This is what you can use to scout your opponent that's coming up for the week, or in a couple weeks you can see what their tendencies are. You can kind of go through. They have a lot of different, as with previous games, there's so many tabs that I haven't been to them all yet, but they are here for your scouting ability. Schedule. Nothing to say here other than obviously you can see your schedule and how the season's going. Your team history page. And something that's a little different too is up here they got these back and forward buttons. So when you're opening through uh, player contracts and everything on their player cards, you actually use this back screen instead of having like 5 cards open and pressing the X. This backwards and forward screen is something you'll use a lot in this game. Then team index, something similar to team standings. You can probably see how long they've played for the entire length of your league, Hall of Fame, all the good stuff that you're used to seeing. So this is the first run through of my first YouTube video. So I'm just going to end this here. And I'm sure there'll be improvements to come as I go through this. But yeah, thank you.